This video response is going to go out to G2 Video, and that is because you uploaded a video entitled 10 Questions That Every Intelligent Christian Must Answer. Granted, I do not possess a PhD, but then again for this video, I do not need a PhD. Mainly, it is due to the fact of all the information that you have left out of your video. That information is going to be placed into this video. Allow me to illustrate. Question number 1, why won't God heal amputees? I'm going to take all the amputees and I'm going to group them into 3 different groups of people. Group number 1. These are the people, the best way to illustrate this would be, these are the people that are like the drunk drivers. They're drunk as a skunk, they jump in the car, they fly down the road, they get into a horrible car collision, they have to have at least one or more of their limbs amputated because of the car collision, and then they whine about it afterwards. God does not and will not heal stupidity. Period. How can I illustrate this? Simple. Let's go to the story of David and Bathsheba. Look at all the dumb things that David did. As an end result, the first child that David and Bathsheba conceived died, and God allowed it to happen because he will not heal stupidity. Boom. Okay. Alright, now what about the second group of people? This is the group of people that do not mind their amputee status. As a matter of fact, they have made a God-serving life out of their amputee status. You don't believe me? Take a look at the link down below. Read the article for yourself. The guy's not especially happy that he's an amputee, but then on the other hand, he has turned his entire life into a God-serving life because he is an amputee. So if we eliminate group number 1 and group number 2, we're left with a very small group of people that I really don't have an answer for. Those people have a right to ask God. That's a very small group of people. A lot smaller than you think. Okay, so let's move on here. Question number 2, why are there so many starving people in our world? 2 reasons. Dictatorship and tyranny, that's 1. Should I mention the name North Korea? Or how about some of those Middle Eastern countries? You've seen them recently, the population that deposed all these dictators. You see it in the news all the time. That's part of the reason. But here's the other part. Those people are undereducated. They are trying to get us to educate them. The problem is that here in the Western Hemisphere, that's us, we are almost as undereducated as they are. And that's the problem. So how do we fix that problem? That's where I come in. I'm trying to fix that problem with my YouTube videos. Come over to my channel, see for yourself. Once we in the Western Hemisphere get a little better educated, we can send off that education to those people, they get educated and they don't starve anymore. End of story. So, there you go. Okay. Question number 3. Why does God demand the death of so many innocent people in the Bible? Innocent? Really? Exodus 35:2. Now let's take a look at this. God's got the Hebrew people in the wilderness. He is feeding them manna every day. He sets up a system, a perfect system, where they don't have to worry about their food on the day of the week that God wants to spend time with them. And you know what happens? They thumb their noses up at God. They say, hey, look, we don't want to spend time with you. We want to continue getting the manna. We don't care about what you do. And God's like, wait a minute. You're telling me you don't want to spend time with me and you want to profit off the very day that I gave to you? What an insult. And that's why God dealt with them accordingly. Why don't we translate this into modern day? There are some people that live at or sometimes even below the poverty line. They have to make the the income that they're making just to survive on a day-by-day basis. God blesses them. But what about the millionaire on the yacht? He spends 7 days a week trying to earn income to keep up his social status. He doesn't care what God thinks. He doesn't even listen to God. You know what happens? God gets his attention real quick. May not be today, may not be tomorrow, but eventually he will get that guy's attention. Or that gal's attention, either one. Okay? So, there's your answer. Deuteronomy 21, verses 18 through 21. The people that were being talked about weren't 7-year-olds not cleaning their room. Let me translate a little better for you. How about Dylan Klebold and Eric Harris? How about them? How about the other bullies that attend school every day, and some of them actually bring with them high-velocity projectiles to enforce their tyranny in school? How about them? Now that's a different story. That's why God deals with them the way he does. Okay. How about Leviticus 20, verse 13? Okay. Let's take a look at this Hebrew society. It's the Old Testament. They're in the wilderness. Guys got all the rights. Women can't own land, they can't vote, they can't do hardly anything without a man's approval. That's a problem. You know why that's a problem? Because if they don't get married and they don't have any male children, when their parents die, they instantly become destitute. That's a problem. See what I mean? You say, well, that's not a problem in our modern day and age. You're absolutely right. Women have rights. Back then they didn't. To do what they were doing was going to leave them destitute. Would you want to commit a crime that was going to leave your mothers and your sisters and your daughters destitute? I don't think so. But then there was another thing. We're talking about this kind of activity. We're also talking about people participating in these kind of activities as a part of a paganistic ritual. That breaks the first commandment. You know what happens when we break the first commandment? I think you can guess on that one. Now there is a third reason that I'm investigating right now, that when I have better details, I will present them in a separate video. But I think these two were bad enough. So, again, you left details out. All right. Deuteronomy chapter 22, verses 13 through 21. Ladies who are not virgins when they marry. Okay. All right. On this one, either she has committed fornication, which closely relates to the 8th commandment of the Bible. Not actually not the 8th, the 7th. The 7th commandment of the Bible. Okay? Either she has committed fornication, which is directly related to the 7th commandment of the Bible, and we all know how fatal that is. Okay? Or this gentleman has disgraced this lady in front of everybody, which is the breaking of the 9th commandment of the Bible. Not a mistake you want to make. So either he has disgraced her, or she's fornicated. Both very deliberate acts. Both very hurtful and vengeful acts. And that's why God deals with them this way. Okay. Why does the Bible contain so much anti-scientific nonsense? I will cover that in another video. There's so much information I want to cover with you guys, and it will take me a long time to explain it. So wait, I've got another video that will explain that one in greater detail. Okay. Why is God such a huge proponent of slavery in the Bible? He is not a huge proponent of slavery in the Bible, and that is because you have misinterpreted what was going on. What was causing the slavery? The slavery was being caused by debt. God made debt so deplorable that people avoided it like the plague. That's why God created this law. He created it for two reasons. One, to keep people from wanting to get into debt in the first place. And two, because they were going to have to get in debt with their neighbors to cause the neighbors to do everything they can to keep their neighbors from getting into debt in the first place, because they would not want to see their neighbors suffer. See what I mean? Again, you just left some details out. All right. Next question. Why do bad things happen to good people? I really don't have a big, broad answer for that one. But I may cover that in a different video, okay? Why didn't any of Jesus' miracles in the Bible leave behind any evidence? 2 words, Roman Empire. When they cleaned out Jerusalem, they cleaned out all records of this. Why? Because people would have faith in Jesus. And the Roman Empire did not want them at that time to have faith in Jesus. That's why they cleaned out all the miracles. There you go. There's your answer. All right. How do we explain the fact that Jesus has never appeared to you? Well, it's very simple. It's called the Bible. Why do I need Jesus to appear to me? Everything that he wants me to know is right in here. The end. Okay. Why would Jesus want you to eat his body and drink his blood? Ever heard of a metaphor before? Think metaphor and you'll get it. Why do Christians get divorced at the same rate as non-Christians? Mainly because they probably shouldn't have gotten married in the first place. Ever think about that? Maybe they didn't learn how to love themselves and learn how to love others properly. And that's why they should never gotten married in the first place. If you want to get down to the real nitty-gritty, a lot of these marriages God would never have blessed in the first place. That's why. And there's your answer. So, before you pop up yet another video, I would highly recommend that you cover every single thing that I just covered in this particular video. Anyway, I will tell you more in a future video. Stay tuned.